Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hey, it's not just a podcast anymore. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
That's right. You're here. We're here. Welcome to Fueled by Death Show, everybody. We're really excited as always, and I think I might be even a little bit more excited because I just might die live on camera because Dustin just might stab me. He won't, but it's a little scary with him brandishing a knife. We'll get to that in a minute. This is the companion show to episode 93 of the podcast, which comes out tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that one. We'll tell you why, I promise. First and foremost, though, I am the Incredible Jeff.
And I am the Amazing D-Man.
And we'd love it if you followed us over on social media. Our social media of choice is Instagram. We do Facebook and Twitter a little bit, but get on Instagram if you're not on Instagram. It's a lot of fun over there. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dustin. It was nice to see some love for Christian Slater last week.
It really was. Thank you all for following Christian Slater, real Christian Slater. If you have not followed him, go follow him. We want to maybe we'll just make a new segment called Follow Christian Slater, and we'll shout out all of the new followers of Christian Slater. We'll give them a complex. Like, what is happening?
What we'll do is we'll give away a mug to the person who actually follows Christian Slater in real life. No.
You mean like down the street
Yeah.
and like in his bushes? Definitely. If you stalk Christian Slater and get a restraining order by Christian Slater, we will give you a free mug.
We got to talk to our lawyer about that one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that works.
That might be bad. But if you go to prison, please don't say my name.
But if you do, it's at Death Wish Dustin.
Oh, my gosh. We want to thank a good friend of ours, like we do every single show, Mr. Brock Powell.
BrockVox.com, and not only because is he the voice of everything on the show besides our voices. He also made our trip to LA happen.
Yes.
Which is why you're getting awesome interviews like the one we're releasing tomorrow.
Yes. And the one we released last week. If you missed last week's episode with Weapons Master Anthony DeLongis, go check it out over on YouTube. I'm honestly really proud of that episode.
You did a good job, Jeff.
Thanks, D-Man. But I wasn't fishing for a compliment. I'm just proud because we really had a great conversation with someone whose career spans an incredible amount of stuff, and we got a ton of awesome extra footage in there. It was an entertaining episode, to say the least.
I mean, just like with any of these interviews, you know what topics you want to hit, you know the things that they did, but you don't know how it's going to open up in a conversation.
Yeah.
And with this week's episode and last week's episode, it just unfolded like a beautiful flower in springtime. It was just amazing.
It really, really was. And speaking of amazing episodes, if you go all the way back to season 1 of this show, we sat down with Mr. Ricky Rahman when he came to town and had him on this show and talked about his early days running the Cat House, which broke some of the biggest bands in the world, like Guns N' Roses.
There's so many stories. Like, I remember this because my friend Keith, who was working the front at the time, said that these pretty girls pulled up, because we were like in Beverly Hills,
right?
And pulled up and were trying to come into the club, and they go, well, what is it like there? And he's like, oh, you'll like it. And at that time, Slash fell down the stairs holding a plastic plant with a shirt that said Cat House Security. Okay? And so it's like, oh, that's what we're about.
And when he got tapped by MTV, thanks to Axl Rose, to head Headbangers Ball on MTV. In fact, I used to watch it all the time, and I got to see all my favorite music videos thanks to Ricky Rahman. And we help him by sponsoring his Ricky's Ride every single year. Last year, he came and visited Death Wish Coffee. And like I said, we had him on the show. It's a great episode. Go on and check that episode out if you haven't seen that.
And also, I'd like to add in that last year's was for charity for Claire's Place Foundation.
.org.
And we'll never forget that. That always holds a special place in our heart.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we recently lost Claire to cystic fibrosis and going under a lung transplant. But you can still donate to her awesome charity, clairesplacefoundation.org. And Ricky's riding again this year, and he's riding for another amazing charity, and that is
Stop Soldier Suicide.
That's the one. And him and Leah Vendetta have been riding all around the country, raising money and awareness for this. And yet again, they're coming to visit us.
They didn't get enough the first time. We're gonna give it to them again.
Yeah. We're not gonna get him back on the show. He's busy. He's riding all around, but he is visiting Death Wish Coffee. So you guys watching this show live Wednesday, make sure you tune in to Death Wish Coffee Company Facebook on Thursday, tomorrow, sometime around the lunchtime-esque era, and Ricky will be there, and we're going to do some Facebook Live with him and maybe some coffee tasting and have some fun over at the warehouse. But it'll be nice to see Ricky again. Haven't seen him in a year, and get to catch up with him and meet Leah. That he's got a partner in crime now riding around the nation with him, so that's pretty rad because it must get lonely doing it by himself, like 1,800 miles last year. That's crazy. Or 18,000 miles.
I feel like that might be part of the point of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's just as awesome to ride with somebody, but to ride solo, I bet that's quite an experience.
It might be. I don't know.
While being tough, it must be also just an overall awesome experience. And just something you take with you for the rest of your life.
And I'm sure that's why he does it.
Yeah.
But we'll ask him that and all sorts of stuff. And tune in on Facebook Live. You guys can ask him questions as well. And before we keep going, I almost forgot. If this is your first time joining the show, this is what happens. We give away a mug, and we got a special one this week.
This week, we're giving away, what's it, It's a 2018 Valhalla Java mug.
Valhalla Java mug. This is the all-year-round mug. But we love this mug, and we love giving away one every now and again. And there's a super special reason why we're giving this one away, which we'll get to later in the show. You want to stick around for the update. But yeah, all you got to do, share this show, drop a comment in those comments at any time during the show, join the conversation, have a good time, and one lucky comment at the end of the show will be picked to win this mug. Dustin and myself will sign it, and we'll send it right out to you after the show is over.
And it's number...
It's not numbered at all because it is...
Wrong! It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
I got excited. Sorry, people.
It's a good product.
I saw an opportunity to stab something. I was horribly let down by reality.
But like I said, make sure you stick around for the rest of this show. We're going to get into who's on the podcast coming out tomorrow. You'll meet this week's Death Star of the Week. We got some banned books on the roast this week, and coming up on the update, like I said, there's some very, very special news concerning Zakk Wylde, as well as some new products that you might have heard about, but you might not have seen yet.
I also heard something about like lasagna science, or
maybe. We'll get there.
But don't forget, Saturday
is National Coffee Day, and we're going to talk about that later as well. We have so much awesome in this show, guys. Let's get it going.
All right.
Secret code unlocked. Discount of death.
What better way to have coffee on National Coffee Day than to have it out of a Chemex? And what better way to get a Chemex than to get it with a pack of filters, a pound of coffee, and a coaster so it doesn't slide off your table? And what better way to buy it than with the discount code STEEL? Jeff, spell it.
STEEL.
And that will nail you 15% off of this awesome bundle until Wednesday, October 3rd.
Can I tell you something that when I was growing up, my mom used to make fun of me for spelling because I was the worst speller in the world. I spell check is my friend, Grammarly. I love Grammarly.
Yeah,
my
it's
friend.
great. It's great.
Like, I'm the worst speller in the world. It must be ridiculous for Mom. Hi, Mom. When she watches this show and I have to spell something every week because it's like the worst. It's like, why would you give me that job? Like, every time you tell me to, even when it's something like steel, my brain goes, you don't know how to spell this right.
I think you're doing great, Jeff.
Thanks, Dustin.
You have yet to fuck one up. In fact, the letters are right in front of you to read.
That is true.
Seriously, this might be the best spelling job you've had yet.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, guys, Steel for 15% off all week long on this bundle. And for you who might not have seen it, brand new to the bundle is that Cork Coaster. And that's really rad because we didn't have that in there before, and it really makes it a lot safer to put your Chemex on a surface than your countertop or whatever.
Plus, your overzealous pourers won't leave nasty water ring circles on the tables that they're brewing on.
Yeah, and it's branded Death Wish coffee, so it's another little collectible thing right there. And, yeah, it's the best time to get it, guys. National Coffee Day coming up. The best way to brew coffee is that Chemex. It's the bundle. You get the whole thing. Literally, this comes to your door, and you're ready to go. All you need is, hot water, and everybody has a way to make that happen.
And a grinder.
And there might be another way coming soon. You guys are going to want to stick around to the end of the show to find that out.
Wait,
though.
hold on. I just want to do a little show there.
All right.
Science!
So, D-Man, we spent a couple weeks away, and now we're going back to space, so don't get scared.
I've been preparing.
Okay, good.
This is kind of random to bring this up in the middle of the show, but I'm going to anyways because I feel like, and I've been meaning to tell you about this show that I started watching yesterday.
Ooh, the first?
The first.
Is it good? I haven't checked it out yet.
It's phenomenal.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Sean Penn is a monster. He's such a good actor.
They had a whole kickoff event. Hulu did a whole kickoff event in New York City last week or the week before for this Hulu original called The First. And one of the guest speakers was none other than our friend astronaut Nicole Stott, which was really great.
Yeah.
And actually, my wife and I were going to put it on the other night, but it was like at the end of the night, and we had enough time. We knew we had enough time to like watch an episode of something before we were both going to be asleep on the couch, and I didn't want to start a new show.
Let me
and,
tell
like,
you,
have it be that.
You got to be ready to watch the second episode because the first episode just
Sets it all up, kind of.
it leaves you slack-jawed and just devastated.
Cool.
Yeah, I got
Cool.
chills, dude. I got
Cool.
chills just talking about
Well,
it. Anyways,
I can't wait to go start it. I cannot wait to go start it.
I kind of witnessed the scariest thing that could happen in science, so now I'm ready for our science segment.
All right. Well, this isn't that scary. It's actually really interesting. This was a headline that I read, and I had to reread it because I was like, is this what? What is this? This is science? The headline was, nuclear pasta is the strongest material in the universe. And I, of course, like all of you out there, went, nuclear pasta? I mean, I know what that is like when I'm like reheating, leftovers in the microwave or something, but that's not what they're talking about.
Joke.
So, yeah. So what this is this all stems from a neutron star. Now, neutron stars are what are left when the core, the iron core of a supernova collapses. And you either get one of two things from that. You either get a neutron star or you get a black hole. Okay? And we know this. This is what happens in the universe. These violent explosions are very energetic and occur when there at least 8 solar masses become unstable against its own gravity. And then under this weird possible thin atmosphere that's created in a neutron star, it creates a kind of crust around the star. So it's almost like a planet. Think like a planet. Like a planet has this crust and then there's the energy inside of it.
Yeah.
Even though this is a ball of energy, there is this crust that kind of happens on the outside of it. This is a material consisting of a lattice of nuclei in a gas of electrons. Now think back to your 8th grade science, like with neutrons and electrons and protons. And as you go deeper into the crust, these nuclei take on shapes that are exotic. They're not shapes of circles or oblongs that we know in science. It's this exotic shape. That's why they're deemed nuclear pasta. And I have 2 different graphics to kind of show you this. This first one is showing you as you go from the outer crust into the inner core of the neutron star, what it looks like. On the outer crust is the red with the blue dots, okay? And that's like, it's this gas of electrons, and then these nuclei are these blue dots. And then it happens again once you get farther in with all the gravity. But that middle area, the long flat and then the tubular stuff, that's what they call nuclear pasta, because it's this pasta phase.
It looks like little pastas.
This even
really,
makes
they looked at it and they're like, yeah, it looks like pasta. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. We'll call it
this
fucking
is
pasta.
3D models of some of those things.
Lasagna!
Yeah.
Spaghetti!
Gnocchi, spaghetti, waffles, lasagna, defects, anti-spaghetti, and anti-gnocchi. Which is crazy. Scientists can name things whatever the hell they want to make them understand it.
Please tell me it was Italian scientists.
I hope it was.
It has to be.
I hope it was. So this is basically an extremely dense material inside the crust of neutron stars. Now, just to give you a little bit more of what a neutron star is, every time we've ever seen a neutron star be created, they're anywhere between 5 and 10 miles across, which isn't large, but they are at least 1.5 times the mass of our sun.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about 1.5 times our sun fitting in the size of like the island of Manhattan.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's massive. So again, to get a little bit more sciencey on you, but below the crust, these competing forces between the protons and the neutrons cause them to assemble shapes in these long cylinders, these flat kind of planes, and that's why they've dubbed it lasagna and spaghetti.
So it's just energy just freaking out inside of this extremely heavy, hard crust.
Correct. It's
Wow.
this crust that really shouldn't be in a ball of energy that's like, I shouldn't be either. And it's just like, it's one of the coolest and craziest things that happens in the universe. And we're still learning about these because we're now getting to the point where we have the technology to actually look at these in reality. You know, like we knew about them forever with like old school telescopes and stuff, but now with like thanks to TESS and the Hubble telescope and that kind of thing, we can look so much farther into the universe.
And eventually these things explode?
This is after an explosion.
Oh.
Yes, sometimes we talked about it on a show, I want to say, a couple months ago. We talked about it where the Hubble actually viewed 2 neutron stars colliding together and creating this weird well of gravity. And that's where we started to really understand that, holy crap, gravitational waves are a thing.
Yeah.
And we mapped them for the first time ever in human history.
Right, I remember that.
Right,
yeah.
so things can still happen, but neutron stars can just be a neutron star for hundreds of millions of years, too.
So it's just this really heavy, crazy thing just floating around the universe, probably pulling everything into it with this insane gravitational force.
Right.
It's just incredible.
It is incredible. Dr. Matthew Kaplan, the postdoctoral researcher at McGill University, said the strength of the neutron star crust, especially the bottom of the crust, is relevant to a large number of astrophysics problems, but it isn't well understood. Dr. Kaplan and his co-authors successfully ran the largest computer simulations ever conducted of neutron star crust, becoming the first to describe how this breaks down. The initial findings of this material, this nuclear pasta, really connotate that this could be the strongest material in the universe. Again, this is going to get a little sciencey on you. I had to look this stuff up. There's something called a shear modulus, which is the shear strength, the strength of something that a math problem that you can figure this out, the strength of something, how many gigajoules it takes to shear it off.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Diamond, which is one of the hardest materials we know of,
Yeah.
okay, has a shear modulus of 478. Okay. In our gravity. This material, they are predicting, has a shear modulus of 10 to the 30th power. Now, again, that's very sciencey, I know, but if you think about it, 10 to the 30th power is 10 and then 30 zeros behind it.
Whoa.
And put that towards 478.
Whoa.
Yeah, mind-blowing stuff. It also has a breaking strain, which, again, is the strain, another math problem that measures how much force it takes to break it apart.
Right.
It has a breaking strain of 0.1, which is way higher than any material that we've ever found on Earth or have observed in the universe.
So, I mean, it's weird because we're talking about cold steel knives and swords.
Yeah.
But the weapons are measured the same way because you want it to be able to hold an edge, which is the strength, the shear strength, but you also want it to be able to take impact and not break.
Right.
Which was the other strength.
The sheer modulus.
Right.
Right.
So it's rare that you'll find something that can keep an edge that can also take a hard blow.
Right.
Right. And that's what sword makers are always trying to do. And samurai mixed different alloys and made a different core that was flexible, but the edge kept an edge because that was the sturdier stuff.
Right. So how does this science actually give any practicality? Because will we ever, first of all, be able to get our hands on this material?
No.
More than likely not.
No.
Because
how would we?
We would have to figure out a way to get close to a neutron star to harvest it.
No.
Not going to happen.
No, it's going to suck us in and murder us.
Or we'd have to figure out a way to make our own.
No.
And also suck us in and murder us.
Yes.
So, scary space stuff. So those two things aren't going to happen.
I thought you said it wasn't going to be scary.
But what's interesting about this is if the more we research this material, this nuclear pasta, it can give us insight on actually how to manipulate things to a nuclei level, to the atomic level, and it might actually help us to make stronger materials because of the knowledge we learn from this strongest material in the universe.
Well, if you think about it, this material is the best material to deal with space.
Right.
And space travel.
And energy, space energy,
Yeah, and if we were to get anywhere close to actually creating something close to this or learning something from it, we could be creating things to better travel through space.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's pretty cool. It's one of those discoveries that it's like, wow, we'll never be able to witness that probably firsthand, but just the knowledge of it might 100% change what we know about astrophysics, what we know about physics, what we know about strength of material. You know, like it really might have a lot of applications moving forward as we do more research about this.
I mean, you got to think a tiny little piece of it must be like thousands of pounds.
Yeah. They're right.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling stuff, but I thought it was really neat. And I couldn't not talk about nuclear pasta.
I know, right? You can't pass up space lasagna.
Cannot pass up space.
I know.
Space
We're talking
lasagna.
about crusts and shit. I'm hungry now.
Love it.
Good, good. It is a fully operational Death Star of the Week.
All right, guys, it's Death Star of the Week time. That time that you get to meet one of the cool community members out there, and this one is no different. I actually started to follow this person because every post he makes, he likes to tag Deathwish Coffee, or at least hashtag Deathwish Coffee in it, doing some of the cool stuff he gets to do with his job, which we talk about. And he was the first one, because he happened to be in the area, to come into our brand new studio and record a Death Star segment here. So you guys are going to meet him right now. If you've never met Quentin Mariano, you're going to meet him right now.
You're going to meet him right now. You're going to meet him right now. You're going to meet him right now. You're going to meet him right now.
You are the first guest in our brand new studio, so I think you get a special sticker or gold star.
I
for
get the
that
gold
one.
star. The gold.
And thanks for joining us on the Death Star segment. I'm going to start the way I always start. I want to know, how the hell did you find out about Deathwish Coffee for the first time?
So I went to SUNY Oswego for theater, did all that.
I went there as well.
The more you know.
Go
and
Oswego.
then I was in my dorm room. Some app, I don't remember the app, but it was like the world's strongest coffee. I'm like, no way. Cheap college kid. I was like, I'm not going to buy it yet.
Yeah.
Senior year doing more productions. I was like, let me try this. Tried it. I was like, okay. And then went on tour. I needed something to keep me going on the long days, and I fell into it.
When about was that?
2011 was when I saw it, so 2015 was when I really
So you
hooked
saw it
in.
right in the beginning. 'Cause
Yeah.
like 2011, 2012 is when we hit the interwebs and we're like, okay, we're a company, and
Yeah.
you saw that. So you've seen the growth of the company.
Yeah, and I've been staying with it because I'm like, let me at like black, white, red, simple colors.
Yep.
Black is every wardrobe for every theater person.
Oh yeah, of course. So coffee obviously fuels your day. So speak a little bit about what you do then.
So I do lighting for Broadway, touring Broadway shows. This one I'm on this year is Anastasia.
That's
so the first
awesome.
national. And I'll be running the light board out front, and every city we go to, we set it up, bring all the stuff, and we go from 8 a.m., we'll say like an 8 a.m. to midnight, or like the last show was 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. the next day.
Wow. So in just out of curiosity, in this day and age with technology being what it is, how much do you have to do on the fly and how much is like an automated thing?
It's you hope. Your keyword is you hope there. It's all It's all triggered, all automated. So all you got to do is hit go. Same with automation. You just got to hit go and it rolls the way it is. But if something happens, say a light goes out, might have to tweak it ahead of time if I know when it's going to happen. Keyword, if I know what that light does.
Right. Wow. Well, at least you got coffee keeping you going.
Yeah.
How much coffee do you drink a day?
Minimum has to be my 30-ounce cup of Yeti.
Okay.
And then if it's the long dates, it's like 2 or 3. Like long load-ins, long load-outs, 2 to 3 cups, same size.
What's your brewing method, especially for someone who's on the road all the time?
It's a pour over. I just travel an electric kettle and pour over the. Yeah, it's the easiest, cleanest, and best way to do it, I think.
That's awesome. Did you see we're coming out with a kettle?
Oh, that's
Yeah?
Oh, I saw that. Don't worry, I'm ready.
Awesome. That's really, really cool. So also on the other side of it, the other question I love to ask is, you've seen the company, and do you collect the mugs at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
What was the first mug you got from the
So
company?
I fell in late to the mug. So the first one I got was the Abe mug.
Oh, okay.
The Abe set.
Yep.
And then slowly picking them up, find some on eBay or in the Dukes, and buy them. And my favorite, I think color-wise, is the Yeti. That blue, I love it. I think that's my favorite one.
It's one of mine too. That's why it sits right back up there, actually. And actually, that was the idea behind the second issue of our comic book that came out last year. Was we roped the Yeti into there.
Where was? I was on tour when I got it. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I had something to do. I was like, I got to read all this.
Oh, yeah. I got a third issue coming out this year at the end of the year. So we're really excited. So your favorite mug's the Yeti. That's awesome. Do you like the bigger mugs or the smaller mugs?
I like the bigger mugs.
Bigger
I'm
mugs.
just it has to be a big cup of coffee every morning, even when I'm home.
Yep.
Always got to be a big cup.
Awesome. So for someone who has been with the company almost since its inception, and by the way, you are one of our biggest ambassadors because everything I've ever seen you post on Instagram, you're always tagging Death Wish Coffee, always hashtagging or tagging the company.
Oh, yeah.
So that's awesome because, you're all over the country, all over the world, doing what you love to do and bringing the love of coffee with you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
can't thank you enough for that. But you've seen us do a lot of stuff, a lot of mugs, a lot of events, a lot of different merchandise. Is there something that we haven't done that you'd like to see us try?
I have 2. I was gonna say the windbreaker, but I already saw that in the video.
It's coming.
And I'm like,
It's coming.
Okay, we're in.
Yep.
I really want a good polo.
Okay.
Like a nice, moisture wick kind of polo for like when I run front of house. Got to look
Yeah,
somewhat
you gotta
clean,
look a
but
little bit
but with like a
presentable.
nice little Death Wish logo.
I like
clean,
that. I
and
like
then
that.
shoes. I'm thinking like a Vans or Converse collaboration.
Yeah, we've talked about that on prior Death Stars, and like I said, the hard part about doing something like that from a Death Wish standpoint is we would have to have every size imaginable and so many different variants of those sizes and all that kind of stuff, men's and women's and everything else. The best case scenario, which I hope we get to do someday, is actually talk to Vans or Converse and be like, let's give you our logo. You make the shoe, and we don't have to worry about stocking the shoe.
It's all you. It's all them.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the Death Star, but like even do pre-orders, like pre-order somebody's size, and then you don't have to sit on that supply.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would love. I mean, we do a lot of merchandise, and we try to make people look as cool as they can with shirts and sunglasses and hats and everything else. And shoes would complete it all.
I think that's just the full outfit.
We haven't done pants yet either. I don't know how we would do that, but I mean, maybe pirate pants.
It is Pirate Day. It is Pirate Day.
It's National Pirate Day. Actually, talk like a pirate. We did it wrong.
I don't know.
Oh man, but I hope we get to see some of that stuff down the road because one of the coolest things about working for this company is all the ideas that we just kind of throw at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah,
And hopefully we'll get to see some of that cool stuff. Quentin, I can't thank you enough for coming in and, like I said, first guest in the new studio, and for being on the Death Star.
Well, thank
this
you.
week.
It was nice to come by my last day off.
Yes, yeah, until you're Anastasiaing for the rest of the year.
The rest of the year, at least this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who
More.
knows?
Never
Who
know.
knows? Well, thanks again.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, welcome back to the show, the Fueled by Death guest.
Wow, what a crazy guest we had this week.
Holy crap. So when we went out to LA recently to bank all these awesome interviews for upcoming shows for you guys, this was the first one we did. We drove up to Ventura, California, and we got to tour the Cold Steel Knives facility and talk with their owner, Lynn Thompson. And it was such an experience. First of all, it's your first time in California.
Yep.
We had been in California for less than 24 hours.
Yep.
And we drove through a lot of it
Yeah.
to get to Ventura. It was beautiful country to get up there.
Yep.
And then we get to this facility that is just mind-blowing because of the amount of stuff they create. You walk into their main showroom, and you're just met with the most amazing knives, swords, axes. Literally, the axe that Rick Grimes uses on The Walking Dead, the one that's been on his side for the last 4 seasons, is a cold steel axe.
That's
and
insane.
it's hanging on the wall.
And if it were an actual zombie apocalypse, that would be the weapon I would want to have.
And this would be the place I'd want to be because they're really stocked with weapons.
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously. And it was not only an experience because we got to sit and talk with him, but he actually showed us how to throw axes and sharp shovels and spears.
I've never thrown a spear before, and I had no idea so much of your body and so much geometry went into it.
But I felt my DNA ignite. Like it
Yeah.
was something familiar.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting.
It was really cool talking with Lynn about starting this company, the ups and downs of literally owning a weapon company, Cold Steel Knives. And also, I was so impressed to find out that he is such a connoisseur of the history of weaponry. In fact, we shot the episode in his office, flanked by 20,000 books, all of them on weapons.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been doing research on weapons so long that now, at this point, he's the head of product development for
Yeah.
every weapon that goes in and out of there. He's testing everything that he sells. He's making sure that it's high quality and can actually do the things that you need it to do without harming you in inefficient ways.
Right, and not only do they make some of the coolest knives around, but like you were saying, we got to play with some of the other stuff that they create. Like you guys remember the contest we just did with their awesome Warhawk axe, and we got to
I
see
love that
those.
axe. We left with one of those axes. They're so nice.
But one of the things like that Lynn loves to do is take historical weaponry that he feels is being lost to the annals of history and recreate it to the best of his ability for the mass consumption of his consumers, of his customers. And one of those things is a Russian special forces shovel. The Spetsnaz use this, and it's a bladed shovel, so not only are you out and you have to dig your trench or you have to, whatever, you can kill a guy with this thing.
not only can you kill a guy with this thing, you can kill a guy at a distance.
And we
with
learned
this
how
thing.
to throw these at, wooden targets, and you kicked ass.
I know, it just clicked.
Yeah.
I saw you hit the target, and I was like, "Oh, Jeff hit the target first." And
I
then,
hit like barely the corner of the target. I think you got 2 bullseyes.
yeah, I just
You
clicked for
Robin
me.
Hood that shit.
Yeah, it felt
was
good,
awesome.
man.
And all that's on tape. We got all that in the episode and more, and this incredible conversation with Lynn. That all comes out tomorrow. But I got a sneak peek of this brand new podcast episode with Lynn Thompson, the owner of Cold Steel Knives, right here for you guys.
People always ask me, well, Lynn, why do you carry such big knives? Like, I'll pull this one out. I carry 3 of these all the time.
Wow.
I said, do you want me to save you with this or with this?
Right.
If you're bound up and you're tied up and you're compromised in some way, your life's at stake, do you want me to pull out this and cut you free or that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's no contest.
I always ask people, they say, why do you carry such a big knife? Well, you want me to save you with a Leatherman tool or a 5.5-inch serrated vaquero from Cold Steel?
And that's a sexy
razor
looking
sharp.
blade.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about because that's the sexiest
Well,
looking blade.
we were
I've
talking
ever
about how do I stay innovative. This comes from the Turkish Yatagan,
seen. Okay.
which Sir Richard Burton said. He wrote the Book of the Sword. Was the most perfect cut and thrust shape ever devised by man. It's got an S curve, a slight S curve to
Right.
it, but you notice the point is very acute and lines up in the center of the handle.
Yes.
But it has an inward curve and an outward curve, and this inward curve gathers. So if I block something with this, I catch it here.
Right.
If they try to escape, the hump or this curve catches them going out.
Right. Wow.
But it's enormously pointy too, so it thrusts as good as a dagger,
Yep.
Right.
and it cuts like a sword.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things that will be forgotten, and you're kind of bringing them back up to light.
They
So-
have been forgotten
Yeah.
because there's not that many people interested in performance today.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to give a shout out to the American Bladesmith Society in the early '80s, and to Dan Maragney, a master smith. They caught my attention because they were interested in performing, and I thought, I want to be like that.
Right.
And that's why I came out with Sanmai knives and Sanmai steel, because I could come out with a laminated blade that would perform the feats that these custom bladesmiths were doing with their knives at a price that people could afford. Or you could put a knife in a vise and you could bend it 45 degrees, it doesn't break. You could cut through a 1-inch rope with it with one swing. These are some of the things that these guys were pioneering in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And today, you're seeing kind of a dumbing down of performance. No one talks about it. I'm kind of pry in the knife industry because I'm interested in lock strength.
Right.
Super interested in it. Because
Yeah.
when you think about it, this knife's on a hinge, right?
Right.
And the only thing stopping that razor sharp blade from slamming shut on your fingers
Is that
this lock.
Yeah.
And people don't think about that. The most important thing when you pick out a knife is how strong is the lock.
Yeah.
Not how cool it looks, not how sexy it is,
Yeah.
not how tricky that you can play with it and all that stuff. Because when you go to use this thing for real sometime, and it folds up and cuts your index finger and severs one of those tendons, now your finger is like at half mast the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to be really pissed if you're musicians, if you do anything with your hands.
Yep.
That index finger, if you're a gun guy like me,
Yeah.
to injure my trigger finger, that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent $1 million educating this finger.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
super educated. And you don't want to cut that. So I'm always thinking about my customers' fingers and stuff like that. So that's why we have such a passion about lock strength. We're always trying to improve it and find better ways to make a knife safer.
Happy birthday! Surprise! I'm naked.
Okay, birthday time. We got some fun birthdays this week. At the end of September, I can't believe we're already almost in October already.
It's
Where did this
insane.
year go?
I don't know. I can think of a lot of
Yeah.
places it went.
Yeah, that's true. Out the window for sure. Yeah, but we're chugging away, and on Friday,
And we're chugging away
We are.
like just move past all the pain and we're just chugging away.
on Friday, September 28th, a very happy birthday to skater and jackassian Bam Margera is turning 39 years old this week. Man, Bam, dude. Holy crap. If you guys don't know who Bam is, we had his brother on this show just recently. Are you picking his nose?
I am picking his nose.
Yeah, his brother Jess actually plays the band CKY, and we had him on the show recently talking about the band and how they broke because they used to put their music in Bam's early skate videos, and those skate videos turned into the CKY videos, which in turn turned into Jackass.
Which in turn turned into every stupid social media post you've ever seen.
It's true. But yeah, Bam, dude, like right there with the guys from CKY. He's been doing all sorts of stuff. He's still touring with multiple bands.
I opened
Bam
for one of
does.
them.
You did.
Yeah.
But the wonderfully titled "Fuckface Unstoppable."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, quite a while ago.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was a different lifetime.
Crazy.
Where does all this time go, Jeff?
I don't know.
We just
dude.
get older and just die slowly.
Well-
Devilish coffee, everybody.
Well, happy birthday to Bam on Friday. On Monday, October 1st, the very lovely Brie Larson is turning just a mere 29 years old. You might remember her from such roles as 21 Jump Street. Also, she won an Oscar, pictured here, for her portrayal in the movie Room, not The Room, the Tommy Wiseau terrible movie. No, the very cool movie Room. She won that Oscar for. But what I'm very, very excited for is her upcoming stint next March as Captain Marvel. I cannot wait.
It looks like
for
they did a
her.
good job.
Yeah, I cannot wait for
I
her.
can't wait to bash it though in front of you and watch you get upset about it.
I mean, that's fine. You haven't really been into these superhero movies lately, and that's totally fine. I love the roller coaster ride of all of them, and I'm really excited to see her portray this character because it's one of those lesser-known characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy that a lot of people don't know about, but I think will do really well translated on the big screen. And I'm very excited to see her just kick ass as this character. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that comes out in March. But a happy birthday to her on October 1st. Finally, Wednesday, October 3rd, Gwen Stefani is turning 49 years old. Gwen Stefani obviously is known now for her work on The Voice as one of the judges.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah. She's
I
been
didn't
doing
know
that
that.
for years. And
I'm so out of the loop, Jeff.
her solo career and everything, but near and dear to both my heart and Dustin's heart is her stint fronting the band No Doubt back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Man, Tragic Kingdom is still one of the greatest albums that ever came out of that era.
I bought the vinyl the other
I know
day.
you
could
did.
just pop that on and listen to it front to back.
So
and
good.
It sounds extra good on vinyl because that bass just kicks, man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. And she has such one of those unique voices that can transcend genres. You know, she has a great solo pop career, but she also had a great front woman of a rock band, punk band career, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so
I mean,
good.
Like, she really has one of those voices that can do it all.
So
And-
much personality in
Yeah.
that voice. I mean, that's the thing I really love about a good vocal line is you can hear attitude, and she's just pure attitude in singing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. She's so good.
And very successful family as well, as her brother is a very celebrated artist. He did many seasons on The Simpsons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And he's done comics and all sorts of stuff. So,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Very talented family. So happy birthday to all of them. Let's roast something.
I smell a roast.
Does it smell like burning books?
Fahrenheit 451.
Did you
I'm
watch
paging
that?
Oh, it was terrible.
It was. Why did they mess
So
that up so
sad.
bad?
So sad. Michael B. Jordan, Michael Shannon, HBO. Why'd you
How
mess
did
it up
that
so
go
bad?
wrong?
Made me mad. Made me mad.
dude. And I was so ready for it.
Yeah.
They should not have even released that.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Nope. Before we get into the roast, guys, I like to take this time to tell you one more time, share this feed if you're watching it live, and drop a comment in those comments, and we're going to pick one lucky comment after the show is over, and you're going to win this mug. It is the 2018 Valhalla Java mug. I love the lava sand glaze on this mug.
So good.
So rad. Dustin and myself will sign it. We'll send it right out to one lucky winner. It's that easy. All you got to do is share and comment. But let's get into this roast. This week, the final week of September, every single year since 1982, is a week called Banned Books Week.
So
And
wait, is it celebrating banned books?
no, it celebrates reading. And this is directly from their website. In fact, this will give you the insight of it, okay?
Okay.
I was going to give my own little spin to it, but I think this is very well written, and I wanted to read it right from their website. Banned Books Week is an annual event celebrating the freedom to read. Launched in 1982 in response to a sudden surge in the number of challenges to books in schools, bookstores, and libraries. It's typically held during the last week of September, and it highlights the value of free and open access to information. Banned Books Week brings together the entire book community, librarians, booksellers, publishers, journalists, teachers, and readers of all types in shared support of the freedom to seek and to express ideas, even those some consider unorthodox or unpopular. It's shit like this that just makes my blood boil, because we live in an age now where this shouldn't even be a thing. And it's constantly a thing. Every single year, new books are added to the list of books to be banned. And in some towns, some counties, these books are banned. There is a national list of books that are banned, which is even worse, but it's always dwindling thanks to people who advocate for Banned Books Week, and also thanks to the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, which helps get a lot of comics and graphic novels to not be banned when they are put up on that blog.
It blows my mind that this is even an issue.
Yeah.
We live in a country where it's free speech, and this is even a step below. This is written word. If you don't like it, shut the fucking book. It's
Correct.
that easy. Nobody's forcing you to read it. Nobody's forcing their ideals on you. It's in the simplest thing just to leave behind, but you have to push it on other people that they can't access that.
And
It blows my fucking mind.
It blows mine too, and a lot of people don't even know that this is a thing. Yet, if you bring up some of the most famous examples, they do. I mean, Mark Twain has always been on that list ever since back in the day, because of books like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, because of the things that it dealt racism and child sexuality and that kind of thing.
Whatever, to burn these things or just to completely leave history behind and
Correct.
pretend that it didn't even exist, like an ostrich sticking his hand in the fucking sand.
Correct. So what I wanted to do on the roast is to educate all of us on some of the books that are banned on the list this year, because that's what Banned Books is all about, is to know what books are on the list and go out and read these books. Go seek these books out. Don't let them be banned.
That's crazy.
Read these books, because together, reading is knowledge and knowledge is power. And and power is excellent. So I mean, let's all be excellent to each other,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill and Ted, come on.
Yep.
So some of these books are a book called George. This was written by Alex Gino, and it's actually written for elementary-age children. It's a Lambda Literary Award winner, and it's challenged. This is why it's challenged, because it includes a transgender child in the story arc.
First of all, if you have a problem with that, you're an asshole. Second of all, if you have a problem with that, don't read the book.
Yeah, don't read the book. You don't have to read the book. And
Why is this an issue?
sometimes there are issues because parents get on the horn because maybe a teacher wants to use this as curriculum. So therefore, it's not somebody choosing to read the book or not. It's the
That's
kid.
fine. Talk to the school
Right.
if you have a problem with that and deal with the school. Don't ban it for everybody.
Right. And so, I mean, that's unfortunate. Another children's book on the list this year is a book called Sex is a Funny Word. This is written by Corey Silverberg, illustrated by Fiona Smith. It's was written in 2015. It's an informational children's book, and it's written by a certified sex educator. And it was challenged because it addresses sex education and is believed to lead children to, quote, want to have sex or ask questions about sex. Now, this is a lot of that, what you find in the Bible Belt, of people, not wanting the younger generation to have sexual thoughts or think about sex.
But once again, separation of religion and state.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
you should not push your religion on national law.
No, you should
That
not.
is fucking ridiculous.
It
I'm
re-
gonna swear so much during
It's
this one.
okay. That's
'cause
what the roast is all about. I like getting you pissed off.
Nothing pisses me off more than people trying to keep
Ignorance.
things away from other people due to ignorance.
Yeah.
It just blows my fucking mind. Jeff, go on.
One that's on the list this year, and it's constantly on the list, is the Pulitzer Prize winning novel by Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird. And if you've never read this book, go out and get this book. It is in a lot of school curriculum.
Yeah, I read it in school.
Yeah, or it is just, one of those American classics that you really should read. And it's challenged and banned because of the violence that's portrayed in it and its use of the N-word. Lots and lots of books on the banned books list are put up to be banned because of the use of the N-word. Now, as unfortunate as racism and racial slurs are,
we need to know that it happened.
that's the thing. That's the unfortunate thing, is that it happened, but you can't change history by wiping it all away. Again, going back to our our Fahrenheit 451 argument, that is the basis of Fahrenheit 451. If you burn all the literature and all the books, then you have the narrative for the next generation that only this happened. You know what I mean? Like,
See, I guess that's my biggest problem with it all, is that there's somebody trying to control the narrative.
right.
But the narrative should be the absolute truth of what history went through. We need to know that there was horrible racism.
Right.
And that it was a common thing.
Right.
And just getting rid of it, we're going to repeat these mistakes.
And
We're going to forget why we ended up in this place to fucking begin with.
And it's also unfortunate because, the N-word in To Kill a Mockingbird isn't the central theme of it, and you're losing great literature just because of your racial inadequacy, your racist inadequacy.
I don't even think it should be censored.
Yeah. No, exactly not. Exactly not. Another one that's on the list this year is the book The Hate You Give, which is written by Angie Thomas. Actually, this was just made into a major motion picture. It's another thing about a lot of these banned books, which boggles my mind, is that people want to ban these from libraries and schools, yet many of them are movies that you can just consume no matter what.
Yeah.
So-
I think the best thing about these banned books is that when people ban them, they become even more popular
Right.
than they ever were.
This book is not only on the banned books list, but it has won multiple awards. It is the most searched for book on Goodreads. And in its debut year, this young adult novel was challenged and banned in school libraries and curriculum because it was considered pervasively vulgar and because of drug use, profanity, and offensive language. And again, that's just like,
What are we're supposed to pretend that these things don't happen in real life?
read the book, yo.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind. And this doesn't just go for books. Like I mentioned earlier, the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund champions for graphic novels and comics because those are constantly thrown on the banned books list as well. In fact, I wrote an article a couple of years ago for Graphic Novel Reporter about this next graphic novel, The Killing Joke. It's an Alan Moore story drawn by Brian Bolland, and it's very dark. It's the Joker basically kidnapping Barbara Gordon, who is Commissioner Gordon's daughter, and to get at him and Batman, and he basically rapes her, and photographs it and throws it in Commissioner Gordon's face, and Batman beats him within an inch of his life in this book, and it's a very dark story, but the Joker's a very dark villain, A, and B, this is comic books.
Yeah.
And it's a great story written by Alan Moore, and it's constantly on the block because they say that it advocates rape and violence, which is never the case, because if you're reading this and going, man, that Joker's a swell guy, maybe you should not be in society.
Seriously.
Because they're not writing it like that.
If people are being influenced by any of these things in a negative way, they have an issue to begin with.
Right.
And it's probably something that we should be looking at a deeper problem-solving thing that's going on here. It's not books, people.
It isn't.
It's people.
It's people. Another one that's a great graphic novel. It's actually 2 volumes of this called The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. It was a book first, and then he did it in a graphic novel. Absolutely wonderful. And it's challenged for violent imagery, successfully argued against, though, by the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. So it was put on that chopping block and then completely taken off because people championed against it.
That's good, man. We need more people like that.
Yes, there's some violent stuff in there. It's about a kid who wanders into a graveyard and deals with ghosts and demons and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're familiar with Neil Gaiman's work, it's very much that. But I mean, that's like, should we ban all of Stephen King's stuff because it's scary?
Dude,
like
Stephen, and on top of that, Stephen King gets very, very profane.
If you've ever read it, you know what we're talking about.
Dude, it gets, but it's not only in it; it's in a lot of his books.
It's in a lot of
even
his
in
books.
The Gunslinger, it gets gross sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know what? It makes it real.
Yeah,
it makes it very real because shit happens in real life. We can't always just pretend everything's fucking honky dory and ban books that aren't.
Exactly. And again, I'm bringing up a lot of these books because I'm hoping that you'll go, if they're books that you've never heard of, go seek them out. Read these books. Champion reading books that people don't want you to read because knowledge is power. Another one which always boggles my mind that it comes up on the list from time to time is A Light in the Attic, written by Shel Silverstein, same person who wrote Where the Sidewalk Ends. It's a collection of poems, and it's always challenged because it encourages children to be disobedient.
They should be.
Which is ridiculous because you know what? If they're taking their play from these whimsical and weird poetry by Shel Silverstein, then geez, you're not being a very good parent then. If you're not saying don't do the things that you're reading in this.
If you're a parent trying to ban a book, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're the fucking problem. The book isn't the problem.
Reasons for these next couple books include Violence, Insanity, and Profanity. Very, very famous books. Both have been turned into movies and television as well. First, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey, and the next being Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. And both of those widely celebrated by many literary circles and are constantly brought up on the banned books list because of those aforementioned reasons. Finally, one of the newest ones that's been on the list for a lot and that's because it deals with subverting religious undertones and magic and all that stuff, is the Harry Potter series. And people want that banned because they think that it is an attack on Christianity and Judaism, which is just dumb and stupid. It's a whimsical story about a young boy who finds out he's a wizard in a fantasy land, right? Like, that's all it is. Like, you shouldn't ban it because you have these weird religious, like, connotations, right, Dustin? Did you die?
I'm sorry. I was just boiling a bit. It just makes me, it makes me hate religion. Because if your religion is true and righteous, then
there should be room for everything.
You shouldn't be worried about banning books.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we're even still dealing with this. I know I keep on saying that, but it's listen, people, it's 2018. We're living in America. A lot of things are going to happen. You don't have a say in it one way or the fucking other. It's free. It's great. We can do anything we want. I can say fuck you and you can't do anything about it. You probably could, but
Show over. Seriously though, guys, every single year at the end of September is Banned Books Week. Get on it. Support your local library,
Yes.
support your local schools, and support reading in general. Reading is great. I always say I try to read a lot, and I always say I don't read enough, and I like that feeling that I'm not reading enough because it forces me to read more. Our good friend Brad Thibodeau, who runs our warehouse, he does this thing, which I really want to get into, where he has a list. Him and his girl, they come up with a reading list every single year, and it's usually like 50 or 70 books. And I think this year it's even more. I think it's like 100 books this year.
Wow.
And it's like all different, a book by an author you've never read, a book by an author that you have read, a children's book, a book in a different language that's been made into English, a book, like all these different caveats, and they try to tick it off as they go out throughout the year and see if they can make it through that list. But it's great because even if you don't make it through the whole list, you get to the end of the year and you're like, holy shit, I read 40 or 50 books or whatever, and I really want to get into that because reading's great.
I mean, I would chalk most of my intelligence gathering for the last 10 years from reading books.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up. And I just don't see how you're going to be able to access all that knowledge that's out there without breaking open a couple of pages and digging in and figuring a couple things out, then doing it over and over and over again until that stuff is ingrained into your brain and you become a smarter person. That's the way it works.
Exactly. So read more, everybody, and let's all try to help Banned Books Week every single year by just championing knowledge. and reading.
Agreed.
Awesome.
D-Man's Death Wish Update. Brought to you by Death Wish Coffee.
D-Man, every time I hear D-Man's Death Wish Update come out of Brock's mouth, it takes me back because when we used to do a podcast, before we were even doing one for Death Wish Coffee, we had the D-Man Death Wish Update.
Yeah,
And it's the only thing that has kept it going that entire time.
I mean, really, the podcast was born from the D-Man Death Wish Update.
Yeah.
It's
And
so cool.
it was because you were a new employee at the company, and Death Wish was sponsoring the podcast that we were on the Fanboys Inc. network, and you kind of were like our window into what was happening at the company.
And for me, it was so exciting just to see all these things going on. I just wanted to talk about them. And it still is that way. We're always doing cool things. I always want to talk about them. I have a true passion for this career.
It's really, really fun. And starting this week is, you heard us talk about it, coming up, if you're watching this show the week that it comes out or live on Wednesday, on this Saturday, September 29th, it's National Coffee Day. And I'm really excited about it. It's like our Christmas.
Yes.
It's the day to celebrate all things coffee, and we want to try and get Death Wish Coffee trending. So we want to get all you guys involved, and on Saturday, on one of your social medias, doesn't matter where it is, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, wherever you are, make a post about Death Wish Coffee, tag us in that post, and make sure you use the hashtag National Coffee Day. And we'll just get that whole conversation going. We got some fun stuff planned with a lot of our influencers, a lot of the businesses that we work with, to do some posts about the coffee and about Death Wish on that day. And if you're a Facebook fan, if you're watching this on Facebook, I know you are. If you're a Facebook fan, you probably have seen people change their profile pic with a special frame from time to time, whether it's your favorite sports team or maybe the upcoming movie that you're excited about. I remember when Star Wars was coming out, there was a frame where you could change it and you could have a different color lightsaber.
Don't talk to me, Jeff.
Well, it's cool. So we're making one of those too. So you guys, on Saturday, change your Facebook profile to have our National Coffee Day frame on it, and it'll be really fun and cool. But we're really excited about it. September 29th. You guys can celebrate along with us. I'm going to drink a lot of coffee on Saturday, and it's going to be fun.
I'm going to drink a lot of coffee for me relatively.
Two cups.
2 cups.
2 cups.
2 cups at once.
Yeah. So that's really good. Tomorrow tomorrow we got a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, if you're into our loyalty point situation there, you can earn double loyalty points tomorrow.
So if you don't know what that is, go on over to deathwishcoffee.com, and at the lower left, you're going to see a big red button that says DW Stash Cash. It's so easy. If you aren't already subscribed to this, you just click on it, and it walks you through it. You just give your email and your name, and then you're a part of it. And then every purchase you make on deathwishcoffee.com, you get points. And those loyalty points you can then use to offset purchases in the future. You know, X amount of points equals however many dollars.
I do this with a lot of different companies that I buy from regularly because you get just great deals out of the stuff you're going to buy anyways. It's the stuff you buy regularly. So, you know, you can get percentage discounts, you can get dollars off, and it only makes sense if you're buying that shit anyways. And on a day like tomorrow, it makes double sense.
Double points for everything you spend tomorrow. So the cool thing is you could make a normal purchase tomorrow, get double the points, and actually have enough points accrued to make another purchase the next day.
Nailed it.
It's that cool. So that's happening only tomorrow on Thursday. Make sure you get on it. And like I said, if you're not a part of it, just click that little DW Stash Cash there, and it's really easy. Or contact customer service. They're there to help. There's all those FAQs on the website, too, if you have any questions. We got our live chat up and running. You guys are in it. National frickin' Coffee Day's coming. We got double loyalty points. That's it for the update, guys. We got nothing else to tell you, right?
Actually, this next thing I'm very excited to talk about.
Me too. If you guys follow our contest page, deathwishcoffee.com/contest, that's some of the best way to find some of the new products that are coming out. So you might have seen this already, but I wanted to feature it on the show, and I'm going to sync some really nice photos of this in here so you guys can see it up close. But, oh, my God, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, this was something that both Thomas and I were looking to do at the beginning of the year. We were vetting a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different samples, and we were just looking for the right product. We weren't just trying to find it and release it. So this came from a lot of painstaking research, a lot of painstaking testing, and just everything we could to release something that we're totally stoked on. And this is it.
Bum, ba, ba, ba.
The Death Kettle.
Yeah, ooh, the Death Kettle. I like that. You're good at naming things.
Thanks, dude.
But yeah, this is really rad. You can use this on an open flame. You can use it on an electric stove, a gas stove, and matte black finish, which is really nice. Those of you guys wondering, it is exactly 1 liter. And it has some really cool features.
Just in case you're wondering, if you're pairing this up, because this is some of the research I did, if you're pairing this up with your Chemex takes roughly 750 milliliters of water. So this will take care of a Chemex pour plus a little bit more.
Perfect. So that being said, this will basically take care of a normal size French press as well.
Yes.
With a full liter. And there's some really great design elements on it. First of all, like I said, you'll be able to use this on any type of flame, and this will probably be the first thing to go. But right on the bottom there is the nice DWCC stamp on the bottom, the Death Wish Coffee Company logo. And it looks awesome, but don't be surprised if after vigorous use of this that is gone someday. But
it happens.
But it happens. It'll look cool, all flamed out and everything. The handle, Death Wish Coffee Company on the handle, which is really nice. And my favorite is the thermometer, which is built right into it. So you can get your coffee or your water to the perfect temperature, because a lot of people don't know you don't want boiling water for your coffee. You want it just slightly under boiling. Now, this is a Fahrenheit thermometer. So boiling in Fahrenheit is 212 degrees?
Yeah, you want your coffee to brew somewhere between 195 degrees and 205 degrees. Reason being, if you're under 195 degrees, you're not extracting the right properties of the coffee to taste all the flavor profile. If you're over 205 degrees, then you start breaking down the composition of the coffee cell walls, which give you the bitter taste and undesirable aromas that you get from that's burnt coffee. Well, that's because it's actually burnt. You're breaking down parts of the bean that you don't want to drink at all. So if you stay under 205 degrees and over 195 degrees, you will have a perfect cup of coffee, and this will lead the way.
Science! But yeah, it's pretty rad, and we're really excited for this. Like we said, we love selling the Chemex as it is, so when we have this, it'll just be another thing to let you just have the best brewing method out there. And it's branded, which is really rad. Even the And I'm going to put a picture, like I said, but even the thermometer not only says Death Wish Coffee Company, but has a little skull and crossbones right there, which is really rad.
Now, I will say I've gone through a lot of these kettles,
Mm-hmm.
either through buying them myself or getting samples from other companies. And this one, by far, felt the best, looked the best, like performs great. The walls of the kettle are just beautiful. I mean, it was really tough to find something that I was actually happy with, that actually, like, you feel it. It feels high quality. Because there's a lot of kettles, even like the ones that you buy on Amazon that are the best sellers on Amazon, you're buying them for $60 or $80. They're cheap pieces of crap that just don't hold up to something like this. Now, I don't know exactly what price point we're releasing this at, but it'll be
worth
very, very reasonable.
Yeah, and it'll be worth it. This is coming out before the end of the year. Like we say all the time on the update, we try to show you products that are coming out immediately, but also ones that are up and coming to get you guys excited for it. So when this gets closer, we'll obviously talk more about this, but we're really excited to talk about it right now. And finally, for those eagle-eyed people who might have noticed on the shelf behind me something different, there is something different back there, and there's something I wanted to tease to you guys. I'm not exactly sure. It's coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's brand new. It's going to be very limited edition, and some of it is going to help a very good cause. I'm going to get it.
Oh, he's going to pull it off the shelf. Oh, my God. I thought they told you not to pull it off the shelf, Jeff.
They did, but I learned it watching you. Guys, this is a new style Valhalla Java mug. Odin Force blend. Father Zakk approved. And they are a very limited. Only 500 of these are going to be made. And they're going to come with this incredible photograph print of Zakk himself, done by one of his amazing photographers, Dustin and Jeff. And you're going to get this whole package, and proceeds, a portion of this is going to go to help St. Jude's Children's Hospital via Zakk Wylde. And we've done things like that before. Zakk wanted to do another thing for St. Jude's. He loves that charity and being able to give back to them. And this was Zack's idea, was being able to do a new mug to kind of be able to do something like that. So we were like, yeah, we're in, Zakk. And we designed it and got his photographer on board. So you're going to get this cool little frickin' photo print. And then also this limited edition Valhalla Java mug. So all you Zakk Wylde fans, all you Valhalla Java fans out there, this is something you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be coming out in the next couple weeks. We'll keep talking about it as it gets closer on the show, so you guys don't miss out on that. But yeah, it'll be one of those super limited releases, and a portion of the proceeds is going to go to an amazing cause.
This mug medallion holds a special place in my heart, Jeff. And I may have told this story on this podcast before, but a long time ago, before I became a full-time employee at Death Wish, I just worked here every now and then when they needed help.
Yep.
And it was when we first conceived of the mugs. And we got our first shipment of these mugs to HQ.
Right.
Which was one of the Valhalla Java and one of the Death Wish mugs.
Yeah.
And I got one of each mug that day. And that was like my last day working there before years down the road I became a full-time employee. But I always joked that it was my severance pay.
Yeah.
But this medallion always brings me back.
And that
to
was the
time.
original Valhalla Java medallion. For the mug lifers out there, it's the one on that sand-colored Valhalla Java mug that's so highly sought after, because we didn't know how good these mugs were going to be. Like, we just were like, we'll try it. But we're really excited to do it again. Like I said, it's going to be limited. It's going to be for a great cause. And you're going to get a cool photo that you'll be able to hang on your wall. And Zakk can just literally do a guitar solo for you always, just on your wall, just like right here.
No, not literally.
Not literally. I wish it was just like...
I'm glad it isn't. That would get really annoying.
But that's really cool. So I've been really excited to want to let you guys in on that. And like I said, as it gets closer to the release date in a couple weeks, we'll let you know all about the details on how to get one for your very own. And that's it. I don't really want to reveal anymore because...
I think that was almost too much.
Yeah, that was a little bit too much. But we'll have more for you next week and every single week on the update. So tune in next week, guys. That's the show. thank you so much for watching the show, for sharing the show, for commenting, and just telling everybody about this show. I got to tell you guys, every single week we notice the numbers of viewers and comments going up and up, and that makes us feel good because that makes us feel like you guys are enjoying what we're doing, and more people are hearing about it, more people are tuning in. So welcome to everybody this might be your first show, and hello to everybody who's been here since the beginning and everybody in between. We love y'all. And one last time, follow us over on social media. It's really easy. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Real Christian Slater.
I knew he was going to say that.
I knew he was going to say that.
I knew
What
it.
a jerk.
Please follow Real Christian Slater. Make his followers go up and up and up. And, yeah, God, guys, it was a lot of fun doing this show. We'll be back next week with a new show. Don't miss tomorrow's brand new podcast with the owner of Cold Steel Knives, Lynn Thompson. A lot of fun in that show. You're going to watch it. You're going to want to watch it even more than listening to it.
I like how you're telling people that they're going to watch it.
Watch it.
Whether you like it or not.
But we've got a lot of fun extra footage in there of Dustin and I learning how to throw shovels and spears and knives and all sorts of fun stuff outside of Cold Steel. And it was just a lot of fun. You guys aren't going to want to miss that episode. We'll be back next week, guys, with a brand new show, brand new podcast, and a lot more fun. Cheers, everybody.
You can't say you did that last week, you asshole. Well, real cheers, not fake cheers like Jeff's cheers. It's fake, Jeff.